everyone, it's Sammy from Sammy's Sweet Life and welcome to my week number 8 pregnancy update. This is the first one I'm actually filming after I announced everything. So I'm really excited. I have some questions from you guys. If you have questions from week to week, just leave them in the comment section down below and I will try my best to answer them. So I will cover questions at the end of this video. It's my last question on my little list of things to answer every week. So Liv is having quiet time. You may hear her. She's talking to her bear in there. I thought she was talking to me for a second. I did end up getting my blood work results back and everything looked good. I do have a negative blood type. That's something I do is they blood type you, and I will get the Rogram shot again this time, just like last time. They just confirmed that on the phone call. I don't know when that's gonna happen. I feel like that was later on in the pregnancy. But let's go ahead and dive into my questions. We are in week 8 and baby is the size of a raspberry. So baby's starting to grow. I think it's like doubling in size as these weeks progress right now. These are just really big growth weeks. As far as new symptoms go, I have a couple that I haven't really talked about yet that have become like more apparent and more obvious this last week. One of them is I am super gassy out both directions, and we've talked about my digestive issues that I've had pretty much since day one. They are still here, but I'm definitely like passing gas and burping a ton now, and it's just really disgusting. Like every bodily function that's going on right now is just repulsive. Also, I am consistently now gagging when I brush my teeth, and I'm not using mint toothpaste like I was with Olivia. I did mention it in my week 8 video with her that I was gagging with the toothbrushing, and I'm using cinnamon toothpaste now. So no, it's not the toothpaste, it's just something about the mechanics of brushing teeth, and I just gag pretty much the whole time I'm brushing my teeth now, whereas last week and the week before it was just every once in a while I would gag, and now it's just a constant thing. And the last new symptom this week is my breasts feel very heavy. I've talked about they've been really sore and tender. I wonder if they will get larger in the next few weeks. I haven't noticed anything happening in that regards yet, but they just feel so heavy. Like I feel weighted down by them now. As far as lingering symptoms, I'm still super duper nauseous. I'm still having the same poopy problems I talked about last week. Just every couple of days I'm having issues, and I did get medication, which I will talk about later on in the questions. I have it written in. As far as cravings, I've had a couple of weird random cravings this week, and they are mainly for like childhood comfort foods. One of them was au gratin potatoes, just the cheesy scalloped potatoes that come in the box. I think they're Betty Crocker. I was just really craving those one day, so I added them to the grocery list, and I finished almost that whole container all by myself over the course of a day and a half. I snacked on it multiple times throughout that time. And then yesterday, all I was craving was the canned like Chef Boyardee raviolis. And it's been a while since I've had those. I've always liked those even as an adult, but I just really wanted them. Thankfully, Johnny picked them up on the way home yesterday, and so I had one can last night as like a late night snack. I have one more can in the pantry if I crave them again, but it's just like these kind of fleeting things like, ooh, that sounds really good right now. I can't think of any other big ones that stand out, but those two really stood out to me this week. I just really wanted those comfort childhood favorites of mine. And then the other craving that I've had consistently, and I haven't mentioned it up until now, is I have been craving ice water. And I will drink like ice water in a restaurant, but when I'm at home, I hardly ever get ice unless I've like been outside and I'm really hot or I've worked out. I usually don't put ice in my water. I just get it straight from the reverse osmosis filter. And so it's just kind of like room temperature, and it doesn't really bother me. It's always been fine, but now the room temperature water makes me feel a little bit nauseous, but the ice cold water is just so good. And so pretty much any of my drinks now, I'm drinking them ice cold, straight from the fridge, or ice cold with a bunch of ice. It's like most of my cup is ice with just a little bit of water, so it's really cold. And that's just gotten more and more where I've just been craving the ice water, especially this last week, but I've been having ice in my water for weeks now. As far as aversions, I don't have any like really specific, like, oh, that just the idea of that churns my stomach or anything, except chicken. I just cannot stomach chicken. We haven't had chicken at all, and it's so funny because one of the things I craved pretty much Olivia's entire pregnancy was Chick-fil-A chicken sandwiches. I wanted them my whole pregnancy. We didn't have a Chick-fil-A nearby, and now we have Chick-fil-A's on like every corner here. I had one early in my pregnancy and it just didn't do anything for me, and it just kind of grossed me out. And since then, just the idea of any kind of chicken thing totally grosses me out. My weight is the same as last week. I'm at 170, which is about 3 pounds above my pre-pregnancy weight this time. My new discovery actually happened this afternoon, and I suspected it like one other time. I am least nauseous when I have a very full stomach, which is just kind of counterintuitive to what I'd expect. I'd expect like if I ate so much, I would feel even more nauseous, but it's actually the opposite. So we went out with friends. Olivia and I had a play date this morning, and then we went to my favorite taco place. I was comfortably full. I didn't eat as much as I normally would eat, but I felt the best like the hour and a half after that I have felt in like a week at least. Not hardly any nausea feelings at all. My stomach still feels, you know, like the poopy problems issues. Pretty much this whole time I've said I feel like I'm right on the verge of having a stomach bug. That's how my stomach kind of feels. But I was not nauseous at all for a good solid like hour and a half. And it's starting to come back a little bit now that I guess the food's digested a while. But it was really nice to have a couple of hours where I felt the most normal I felt in weeks. But it's just so hard to eat a whole lot. Like I eat a little bit, but I'm feeling nauseous most of the time I'm eating. I've gotten like very little relief from the nausea feeling, except something like that where I really like the tacos. I ate pretty much the full meal and felt really good afterwards. So I need to work on making sure I'm eating enough at my meals that I'm not super nauseous even after. So I'm gonna play around with this the next few days or the next week or so and see if I can like have bigger meals that make me feel a little bit better. Comparing this pregnancy to Olivia's pregnancy, I watched the week 8 update and there's some specifics in that week. But overall, I was nauseous with her on and off. I was really tired. I did take a lot of naps, but this pregnancy, the second time around, is kicking my butt. I'm just totally exhausted. I feel pretty much miserable and nauseous and stomach problems just 24/7, and I've been waking up, I've been having trouble sleeping, and I just feel kind of miserable all around, where I was not feeling that way with her. I feel like I was still able to mostly function even at the week 8, which is supposed to be the peak of the morning sickness symptoms. I don't know what it is about this pregnancy. It seems so much worse, and I have not been throwing up 24/7, thankfully. I know it could be way worse than it is. In the week number 8 video, I did talk about acne, and I haven't talked about that basically since we first started trying and we had that first chemical pregnancy. The first month we tried to conceive, I just started breaking out really bad, and my acne has been pretty much bad ever since. But since being pregnant, my acne has gotten worse, and I feel like I've had super dry skin. My skin is itchy on my face just because of all the dryness. I've just broken out so much, especially like around my jawline, which is more hormonal acne when it goes like your jawline. So I feel really itchy, and it's hard not to pick at my face because it is so itchy. I didn't really think to talk about it since it was already kind of acting up. Since I talked about it in the week 8 video, it made me think about talking about it today. Also, I thought it was really funny in the week 8 video. I was super duper excited about taking all the baby classes that my hospital offered, and Johnny and I have already discussed we're not taking any baby classes. We kind of know what to expect because we've already had one, obviously. It's just funny to see like the brand new pregnant mom versus the second time around. I just feel so much different about things this time. I mentioned it a lot in last week's video. And then I also thought it was funny, in my week 8 video was the first week I felt like I could not suck in my pudgy bloatedness, and I felt like that from like week 4 this time. I just feel super bloated and pudgy, and I cannot suck any of it in. I feel really round like all the time. And the last thing from the week 8 video was I talked about craving pickles and just getting like jars of them and eating them every day. Well, I had gotten a couple of jars of pickles a couple weeks back, trying them and immediately getting sick from them. So I have not craved pickles at all since then. So the best thing and the worst thing I'm going to combine, it all has to do with medication. So I did end up getting a prescription. It was for promethazine, and I was kind of shocked it wasn't Zofran because that's just the one I've heard of. I'm pretty positive I did not get a prescription with Olivia. I didn't need it at all. I just was a little bit nauseous here and there, but nothing like this where I'm like 24/7 nauseous, and I was like begging the doctor to get me a prescription. Well, she gave me the prescription for promethazine, and so I picked it up, and I finally was just super desperate and took it on Saturday morning. Just basically from the time I woke up to a little bit later, I was just super nauseous, and I had to take the medicine. I just needed it really badly. And so I took it, and it just totally knocked me out. I basically slept the entire day, and they did say that it can cause drowsiness, but I was sedated basically the whole day, and I was so thankful that I didn't take it until then because I would not have been able to function. I would have had to call Johnny to go pick Livy up because there's no way I could have driven with that medicine. The benefit obviously was I wasn't nauseous, but I was sleeping all day, so it totally ruined my whole Saturday pretty much. I think it helped keep the nausea off longer than the 8 hours that it's supposed to, because I didn't feel quite so nauseous that entire day. But by Monday I was miserable again and like desperate again, so I called in first thing Monday to get them to write me a prescription for Zofran, and they did, and I had to take it on Monday, and it just is a game changer. It was a miracle. I felt really good Monday, and so far today I haven't needed it. I was just pretty nauseous this morning, but I just kind of powered through it. I'm gonna really try not to take it every day, although I probably could take it every day. It would probably help a lot. So summing it up, the worst thing was the first prescription that they gave me, and the best thing was getting the Zofran for those days where I am just totally miserable. I can take that. It can give me some relief on those days. So on the agenda this week, we don't have anything baby related. We're just working on unpacking still. We've got some more boxes up here. I've got to go get some more shelving things for this room because we don't have a whole lot of closet storage. This is a little bit of an older house, so we need some more like shelves and storage unit things so we can put away all the toys because they're like lining this whole loft space right now. I have another appointment now in about 3 weeks, so that'll be when I do the genetic blood testing and a genetic scan. And so as far as answering questions, Adrienne had a bunch of questions, and I'm going to cover a couple of them in separate videos. So for one, she had a bunch of questions on will I go for a VBAC versus a scheduled C-section. Since I had a C-section with Olivia, I am eligible to just schedule a C-section, no questions asked, but I'm also eligible for the VBAC. So it's something that I've thought about a ton. I've mentioned this in multiple videos now. I will do a comprehensive video about my entire birth plan because I have a plan. I'm not going to talk about it because it's going to be a really lengthy video, me covering like everything I want to say about Olivia's birth and the second birth, how I hope that it goes. She also asked more along the lines of like how and why, and lots of details about why we chose to have a second one, because you guys know we were pretty dead set on just having one. Even up till like Olivia being 2 years old, I was still pretty sure that we were only gonna have one. And so things obviously have changed. We changed our minds about it, and I'm gonna cover that in an entire video as well, like the pros and cons, all the decision-making aspects of it, because it's a lot. Obviously, it took us like 3.5 years to decide for sure that we were gonna make this decision. So I wanna talk about every in and out about that as well in a separate video. It will be a lengthy, chatty video, so I'll keep that for another day. And then I'll answer some of her questions here. So one was I this sick with Olivia? And the answer was no. Like when I was pregnant with Olivia, I thought I was sick until I got pregnant again. And now I really know what it's like to be really sick and have morning sickness 24/7. And thankfully I don't puke a whole lot. Like I've gone a few days without even puking, but there have been so many times I'm gagging over the sink thinking I'm going to puke or running to the bathroom, and it's been a lot of close calls, and somehow, I don't know, just by miracle that I have not puked a ton, but I feel like at any point in time I could puke. I was joking with one of my friends, like if this was my first pregnancy, there's probably no chance of us having a second one because it's been bad. And I know it could be even worse. That's the thing. I feel so bad for anybody who really did throw up 24/7 and had to go to the doctor, people who get dehydrated from it. I'm hoping that I will get out of this 24/7 funk. You know, I've been calling it morning sickness, but it's just been all day. Another question Adrienne had was, how do I feel about the age difference? And so when this baby is born, Olivia will be a little over 4.5. I think it's a lot. I really was hoping to have more of like a 3 or 3.5 year age gap. But the more I think about it, the more I'm excited for her to be a big sister, because she really understands so much of what's going on, and we'll be doing something and I'll say, oh, I can't do that right now, and she'll be like, that's because you've got a baby in your belly, you're growing a baby in your belly, and she just kind of gets it. I just love that. I love that she's not a teeny tiny baby and I'm not having to, you know, take care of her 24/7 while I'm trying to grow this baby. She really understands it. She's really excited as well. So I'm just really looking forward to the big sister aspect of it. She plays with babies at the park and really loves the idea of being a big sister, and I love that. I love that she's old enough to comprehend that and to participate in that way. I know lots of younger kids can also be, you know, the big brother and the big sister to some degree as well, but I think she's like the perfect age. Like the more I've thought about it and the more we've interacted as far as telling her about the pregnancy and talking about it, I think this is a great age. And there are a couple of other aspects that are going to be really awesome. It's going to be kind of sad because they won't be, you know, in the same school a lot of the time. They'll be in different schools and they'll be like on different wavelengths as far as maturity. One thing I thought about later on was they won't overlap when we're paying for college, so we can cash flow college much easier with them having time between. That's a benefit for them being so far apart. Also, high school related things get expensive and they won't both be in high school at the same time, so we won't have to worry about those kind of things at the same time. So I feel like that's good. And as far as sibling rivalry goes, I feel like the closer in age kids are, the more they will have that sibling rivalry. And I know that's not always true, and I'm not an expert in this at all, but it's just something I've looked into and talked to everybody about pretty much. I always ask people the age gaps of their kids because it's something that totally interests me as an only child going into having another kid and thinking about this for what amounts to years now. And I feel like the best bet of them not having that sibling rivalry is having the bigger age gap. And I've always said I wanted a bigger age gap. Even in the beginning, I told you guys I really want them to be like 3 to 5 years apart. Well, we're closer to that 5-year apart, and I'm happy with it. I think I'm happier with it the more I think about it because of all the benefits. I won't be raising 2 teeny tiny babies, and I know people do like 3 under 3, 4 under 4, and I just never wanted to do that. I just personally never want to do that. I've had friends that have kids closer in age and they advised me against it. Like, I know people can do it. I know people can thrive in it, but I wouldn't. I would be miserable in that situation. So I know myself, and I feel like I have the best shot at enjoying motherhood the whole way through, having them further apart. And it's definitely something I could do a whole video on. Obviously, I've talked about it now for like 5 minutes, but I do have a story about a lady with 3 under 3 that I will tell you guys at some point probably. So let me know if you want to hear that. But she definitely helped me make this decision to keep them further apart. We did get pregnant on our 7th month of trying, so they could have been closer to 4 years apart, but that's just the timing we were given. Her last question was, any inclinations on gender? And I would say I'm leaning more towards it being a boy just because boys tend to run in my husband's family, and Olivia was the first girl in like 100 years on his side of the family. So it was a shocker to the whole family with her being a girl, and I just feel like we're probably gonna have a boy. So it was told to me well ahead of time, like to expect to have boys. And so I just kind of expected to have boys, and we ended up with Olivia, which I'm super thankful for. I really wanted a girl. I'm glad that we got a girl. And as far as like my own intuition feelings, I would have said I have no idea until the last couple of days. I've been dreaming about a little boy. So I just have the dreams that it might be a boy, and I'm just not sure. I said in a video a few weeks back, by the time you guys see it, it's gonna be like earlier this week, I said that I really wanted a girl, and I go back and forth. So lately I've been like, oh, it'd be so nice to have a little boy. And Olivia actually has changed her tune recently too. She kept calling the baby baby sister. She just kept saying, I'm gonna have a baby sister. And we kept reminding her like, it could be a girl or a boy. But anytime lately that anybody has asked her what she wants the baby to be, she's been saying she wants a baby brother. And still to this day, she's been saying baby brother. So I just think it would be cute to have one of each. We have more girl stuff than boy stuff as far as like the baby hoard that we have, which I'll share in a separate video. We've got tons of baby stuff. I've been slowly collecting stuff. We have absolutely tons of baby stuff. We have way more girl stuff than boy stuff. And so we're set. If we have a girl, pretty much completely set. And if we have a boy, we'll have to fill in with clothes and stuff. So I'm leaning more towards boy today, but again, like, ask me tomorrow and my answer might be different. And also, I just want to thank you guys. I've seen the comments come up, and I just appreciate everybody's happiness and comments, and it's been really great to be able to finally share this. I've been wanting to share this for so long now, basically since we found out. And yeah, and also the moving thing. People had mentioned like, oh, you seem so much happier, and we're so happy that you have a fresh start. And it definitely feels like that. Despite having the morning sickness, I am just so happy that we finally moved. We're finally getting settled into a part of town that's a little bit closer to his work. His commute is just dreamy at this point, and we just kind of can't believe how smooth everything went. And since selling the house, we do feel like a weight has been lifted, and we do just feel so much happier. I know many of you guys have been through the whole house drama ordeal and buying the second house that ended up being a mistake, and just regretting that decision for so long was really tough. And to be able to finally get on course correction and make a change and get the fresh start has just been so amazing. I just can't even describe how great it has been. So I really appreciate your comments, and I'm glad you guys could see like the difference. I really feel like the fog is lifted now. We can kind of start moving on and putting all of that whole thing behind us. And kind of this is our Austin adventure part 2, because we started building that house pretty much as soon as we moved to Austin, like a few months into it. Basically took up our whole Austin adventure thus far. So we're now moving into like second phase of Austin, and we're just trying to embrace it. And so far we've really liked it. We really like the house, we like the area, and it's probably where we should have been all along. I know it's not completely my fault. It was both of us making the decisions together, and we could never have anticipated or known the things that were happening. So it's like hindsight is 20/20 in this situation, where I feel like I made such a big mistake being blinded by that staircase and really just wanting to build. And even before like moving here, I wanted to build a dream home. First of all, we're so young for that to even have been a possibility. It's just crazy. And it's so funny because everything had to go exactly right for us to be able to find the exact house that we were gonna build at the exact moment in time. That company had just moved into the area, and they raised their prices shortly after we picked out our house. So it was like the perfect time to just get in. And then everything had to go wrong for us to lose that situation and to end up in the other house and make all the wrong decisions after that point in time. And I'm finally feeling like we made a good decision. And like I said, hindsight's 20/20. We can look back and see all the wrong steps that we made, but the best part is we finally feel like we made a really, really good decision, and we're where we need to be. So it's been really freeing, and we've been so happy since we finally made the decision to sell the house and we got the house sold. It's been great. So that's not really pregnancy related, but it's something that has been in the comments. When I made the 2 announcements, I talked about the pregnancy and also the moving, and I will have those moving vlogs for you. They'll probably end up next week as far as how the timing is falling. But yeah, I'm really excited to share this new chapter of our lives. I feel like we closed the door finally on that whole horrible chapter, and we can move on now, and it's great. And I can't put into words how great it is. I'm really glad you guys have been there with me to realize how important this move was for us, because it's just life-changing for us to be able to get out of that situation, get out of that part of town that kind of reminds us of all that bad stuff. There's squirrels playing, so I'm trying not to like look behind the camera. I think that is it. This video is really long, just like last week. If you have more questions, leave them down below. And if you're pregnant, let me know how it's going for you. I know a lot of people find these pregnancy videos when they are pregnant. Oh, there's a blue jay out there now too. You guys can't see it. I'll have to flip the camera around and show you guys the view. It's just stunning back behind us, but I just saw a little blue jay as well. I've seen tons of cardinals back there. It's hard to look at the camera and not look out the windows. Would love to know how your pregnancy is going thus far, when you're due, if you want a girl or a boy, all the questions, leave that down below as well. And I'll show you guys my bump before we go. I feel like the same as last week. I'm trying to push the chair back so I'm far enough back. All right, we'll have to take this shirt off here. I just don't feel as round, but still round, and definitely like all of this is getting really firm. Just really round, and I can't suck in anything. I don't know, it's just big and bloated. All right, I want to show you guys, like a lot of times I'll sit crisscross applesauce or have my legs up, like even in a chair like this, put my legs up, and I can't do that now. It just puts too much pressure on that lower down area. I can't put my legs up like that anymore. I can still sit crisscross applesauce, but I can't like put my legs up very comfortably anymore. Even like on the couch, I put my knees up. It's not happening anymore. But anyway, I think that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Leave your questions down below. So this is my week 8 video that I filmed this week, and I'll have a week 9 for you guys in a week. So be looking for that. It'll probably be a little earlier in the week. I'm gonna try my best to get the moving vlogs in before the week 9 updates, so you guys can see those soon. And before we go, I'll flip the camera around and show you the view, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye. All right, I've got junk like everywhere. You can see I still have to get more storage for all of this stuff because it's all scrapbook stuff. But look at those trees, and there are houses. Like you can see a house back there, but there's a green space in between. And I just get to see squirrels and cardinals and little birds and a blue jay earlier. It's just a really beautiful little area. Our yard's actually not very big, but it backs up to all that space. Oh, see, there's a blue jay right in the tree. I think he's a blue jay, and I hope I'm zooming in on him. I can't even tell if I did. Yeah, okay, I can see he's on there. Look at that little guy. I think that's a blue jay. Oh, and there's a cardinal up there. So yeah, I can scrapbook up here and watch the birds, and all I hear all day long is just birds, and it's beautiful. Anyway, that's my view, and it's gorgeous, and I love it. And I have these 2 giant windows. That's something with this house. It just has tons of natural light and tons of windows, and I love it so much. Anyway, I'll let you guys go now. I know this video was super long.